Hey there, and welcome to episode 29 of the Engaging Niche HCP podcast. And I'm your host, Jason Fair, and I'm excited to share one of my favorite topics because we're already planning for 2024 for a lot of clients, specifically in oncology. So if you're a healthcare, life science, med tech marketer, and you're trying to influence, educate, and convert those oncologists, those tricky to reach oncologists digitally, well, you're in store. And I'm going to break down a tactic. And this is actually a three-part tactic and three different steps. This is the Reader's Digest version. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole of a longer version, we just launched a webinar. I'm going to include it in the description below so you can check it out at your convenience. But this video is going to hopefully come in around 5 to 6 minutes. Let's get into it right now. In full disclosure, if you hear some sirens in the background, don't be alarmed. I'm at a large conference, radiology conference in Chicago, and I'm downtown. So apologize if some sirens come up. I am in downtown Chicago where it's a little bit chilly, but let's get into the slides here. So the first step, and before I get into the first step, clients come to us all the time as far as having challenges specifically reaching oncologists digitally. Some of the things that typically come up in our conversations, and maybe you're familiar with some of these as well, maybe you can align with this. It's more challenging than ever for sellers to book those face-to-face meetings with oncologists. Conference rates continue to go up. So you're looking to test some new tactics to reach those oncologists. You continue to leverage social media as much as possible, but you're just continue to get those minimal results. And then a lot of clients continue to do webinars, which we're not saying don't do webinars, continue to do those. But the results that they're seeing, and again, you may be in the same situation, they're just not as effective as they used to be. Limited signups. Most people don't even show up live to the sessions. They just typically watch the broadcast afterwards, which is totally fine. But sometimes that engagement just isn't there. So you're looking for some alternative opportunities. And again, if you want to get access to the longer version of this webinar, specifically that we just launched, and if you're launching a product at AACR or ASCO, you're going to definitely want to watch the longer version because we go into a deeper dive, deeper analysis in these three different tactics that I'm going to showcase here in the Reader's Digest version. But specifically in the longer version of the webinar, you can get more information on case studies. I'm not going to share those today. So you want to check out that longer version of the webinar. But today I'm going to definitely get into showing you how you can engage and educate your oncologist digitally, leveraging the power of those NPI numbers or also billing codes, and then being able to show a report specifically of which oncologists are the most interested. And the great thing about this report, they don't need to fill out a form. If they click on your ad, you can get that data, showcase strategies to amplify a product launch or data at some major conferences, obviously for next year on oncology, such as AACR and ASCO. And then I'm going to share some tactics around engaging and helping to drive booth traffic, and then also post-conference follow-up. So based on all those great badge scans, and then also a couple of the digital tactics that we're going to showcase here, and then share specific ways to capture strategic video footage at those major conferences. Our video crew is here in Chicago, RSNA, and they're capturing a ton of strategic content for our clients. And I'm going to showcase some of the ways that you can do that for your conferences for next year. Here's the overall three tactics that we're going to be able to showcase today to increase awareness and education for your solution. The first one, as I was mentioning, is around data, first-party data, right? Let's showcase how you can leverage that information. You're probably familiar with NPI numbers, billing codes. So I'm going to showcase how you can use that information to reach your niche HCP. Let's say it's an oncologist. And the great thing about this targeting, it's very precise. It's one-to-one. So every HCP has to have obviously a billing code, an NPI number, and we leverage that data as they go online. So you can see up here on the screen. So if I'm a HCP, a medical oncologist or oncologist, I'm going to show you a list of all the counts here in a moment that you can check out to see if we can reach your specialty, right? Reach your subspecialty there as well. And we've got about 5 to 6 to 7 different oncology subsets that you can actually reach and target. But as they go to like Fortune, New York Times, Yahoo, Forbes, Spotify, all those different lifestyle sites. So think of it as your normal media consumption, right? So news, sports, weather, travel, finance, all those different sites, we can reach that niche HCP, and it's cross device. Most people have 4 to 5 different devices that they leverage. And we're able to do that with this type of targeting. And then we get really specific in being able to optimize. So we look at the creative, we look at the landing page, right? We look at the different MPI numbers that you're targeting, and we leverage it to see how we can optimize through the process. Specifically, here's a list of all the oncologists and the specialties that you can see up here on the screen. So we've got medical oncologists, hematologists, we've got OBGYNs, we got surgical oncologists. And again, if you want to get access to the longer version of the webinar that goes specifically into a lot of this case study results data, I'm going to include it in the description below. And so the great thing about this type of targeting is we can get very specific because we're able to leverage those NPI numbers, those one-to-one numbers. And if anybody clicks, right, that's the goal of this campaign, is not only to drive top awareness, top awareness for the funnel, but then also increase conversions and just traffic to your website. Everybody wants that. And as we mentioned earlier, anybody that actually clicks on the ad, we're going to get the data. This is what the data looks like. It's very specific. So we can get MPI number, we can get first name, last name, city, state, zip code, specialty. And then also if there's some sort of hospital affiliation, typically what clients are doing, we're working with the marketing team, obviously, they leverage this information, this spreadsheet with their sales team. So the VP of sales can go in there and leverage this information, right, for follow-ups. If you have a inside sales team, outside sales team, you've got different territories, right? You can slice and dice this data up specifically based on those different territories. The second tactic is leveraging those major conferences: ASCO, ESMO, AACR, ASTRO, AUA, all the A conferences, and also SABCS that's coming up here next month. Yeah, we target this based on, and I know it sounds super creepy, but as marketers, we're all kind of creepers, right? Geofencing, or also called event fencing. So for example, let's say you're at ASCO next year, and that's where I'm at right now. Not ASCO, different conference, but at McCormick Place. So if you do a virtual fence around McCormick Place, any of the attendees that come into that virtual fence, it's based on longitude and latitude. So it's very precise within 10 feet. We can target them with the message of come visit us right at your specific booth. If you've got a product theater, if you've got data that you're releasing, if you've got specifically a poster presentation, it's a great way to reinforce what you're already doing. Here's a quick visual of it. Again, it's based on longitude, latitude, but how we're targeting, it's based on your mobile device. So as soon as you open up a location-based app, let's say it's the Uber app, let's say it's the weather app, you want to see what the Chicago weather is going to be. And I wish I was in Chicago right now in June, right, for ASCO, because it's about 20 degrees here right now. So it's definitely chilly. But again, it's one of those things where it's all based on the mobile ID. It's all anonymous information. So we don't have that data like we did with the number one tactic, right, which is the NPI number. We're not leveraging that here. It's just based on longitude, latitude, and your mobile device. So it's anonymous information. What I love about this targeting is anybody that's driven back to your website, once they click on those banner ads on those lifestyle sites, we can target them and then retarget them 30 days afterwards. So you'd want to obviously have a different message post-conference, but this is definitely a post-conference tactic. And it's very similar to the one-to-one targeting. It's cross-device. And again, it goes across those normal websites that I mentioned. So think of it as news, sports, weather, finance, travel. The other great tactic that we're leveraging for ASCO and AACR next year is called digital out of home. So it's all those screens, billboards, LED screens that you see right outside the convention center. So AACR's in San Diego, and obviously ASCO's in Chicago. You've got those 30,000 people that are coming out of the conference. So it's a great way to reinforce, educate, that brand awareness that you're looking at across those different screens. And again, if you want to get more information, check out the longer version of the webinar. That's about 20 minutes. It's going to be in the description below. And then the great thing about leveraging these conferences, right? You've got all your key opinion leaders, you've got your subject matter experts, you've got your leadership that are all typically there at these major trade shows and major conferences. So it's a great way to capture strategic footage, just like we're doing at RSNA today and tomorrow. We're capturing a lot of innovation workshops, theaters. We're in the booth capturing strategic KOL interviews and getting that turned around quickly for post-conference follow-up. But if you have, again, product leaders workshops, posters, abstracts, podium presentations, if your KOLs are there, it's a great opportunity to be able to leverage that, for the third tactic that I'm going to break down here in about 30 seconds or less. So we want to leverage the retargeting that we're doing for the geofencing. There's going to be retargeting, that HCP one-to-one targeting. And then that's part of the follow-up strategy, right? You're going to want to reinforce that. And then the great thing about going to these industry trade shows, AACR and ASCO, you're building your sequence of email post-conference follow-up already. Once you do that with all those badge scans, right, you're going to want to follow up with them in the email. So one of the most powerful ways to follow up with them about your solution, about the data, is to have the leverage and power of video. So whether it's KOL, subject matter experts, or your leadership talking about your solution, is a great post-conference follow-up. So if this information has been helpful for your 2024 initiatives and planning, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is part of a longer series for ASCO. And as you plan out your initiatives, if I can be a resource, let me know. Bye for now.